And now, from Glasgow.
So, hello, welcome to this unboxing video. Now, disclaimer before we begin, I know this is going to be a long video and I make no apologies for it. When I do an unboxing, I like to see everything, but I've decided I'm going to actually make this an unboxing of the whole order, not just the main product that we're going to be beginning work on next week. So, what I've ordered, it's come from a company called Hobbies. They just seem to do absolutely everything. Various tools, like you've got power tools there. You know, this is all hobby stuff. And they do sell, like we've got ships in there. Something that I'm looking at doing in the future is dolls houses. That they do railway tracks, railway sets. I don't think there's an awful lot that they do that you don't need. You know, if you need something, they probably do it. But yeah, one of the things that I'm looking at in the future is dolls houses, and they do an absolutely massive range. They also have a website. Now, I believe I've often seen this catalogue in in WH Smith's, and I believe that I think you get your money back if you order from the catalogue. I'm sure of it. But anyway, the reason I have this is I joined the Hobbies Club. So there's my little membership card. Now the membership club is £10. It gives you 5% off all hobby prices, priority dispatch, exclusive club offers, free catalogue, all for only £10 a year. Now, I knew I was going to be making an order of over £200, so I wanted to buy it because obviously 5% off £200 is a tenner. So I've made my money back on this membership just on one order. Obviously, this catalogue is free. It should be £4.95. I'm not going to count that because it does come free, and I wouldn't buy this now anyway because it's available online. But I actually spoke to the lady at a lady at Hobbies, and I said, oh, can I use this membership straight away? And she says, no, you got to wait for your membership card, but you know, pay full price. Once you get your membership card, drop us a bell, and we will we'll give you a partial refund based on 5% of your order, which I thought was extremely generous. Now, it's something I've just noticed as I'm talking to you. My expiry date is the 31st of July. Now, I ordered this on the 17th of June, and it's now the 18th of June. Everything, all what you see, what I'm about to show you, came in one day. But they've obviously, my expiry date is the end of the following month. So, fantastic. So I've actually got more than 12 months. So I'm just going to pop that in. I've got a little drawer which I put all my membership cards and my little Airfix points. So that's that. So I've got the catalogue. So let me show you the order. Now, I'm going to confuse you with the prices because the way they've written all the prices down, they've done the price and then they've listed the VAT separately. So it's hard to, and my head isn't going to add up properly. So the first thing that I bought was this hobby boat planking tool set. I'm not doing a boat, but there's a couple of little things that I thought was handy. It does come with a few clips. Now this is £11.99 plus tax, £2.40. So what's that? 12, 13, 14.5 pounds. Can never have enough clamps. So they're obviously fine. I'm just clamping those onto my workbench. This is one of the main tools that I wanted to buy. This is like a pin pusher. So what you want to do is, when you've got pins to nails and things, rather than using tiny hammers and things, what you do is you get your little nail, you pop that into there like so, and then right where you want to hammer the nail in, this isn't going to be very good, but you then push it in like that, and there you go, that's that nail gone in there. And then you can just finish that off with a hammer if you need to. But how much easier was that? I think I've lost that now. And that does obviously come with a pack of nails. Normally when you buy a kit, you'll get your nails anyway. You can buy extra nails from the Hobbies catalogue. And lastly, and this is the main thing, I know I've looked at the instructions for this product. I nearly gave away what I've got. So there will be a need to be cutting pieces of wood, and that's exactly what this is for. They've called it a guillotine. Call it whatever you want. So there will be instances where I get like a piece of wood and I need to cut it down to a certain length. So what I'll do is, let me find a pencil. So I will obviously measure the pieces of wood, mark them off. I don't know why I've picked up a pink pencil there, but there you go. And then what I'll do is, there we go. And then I can cut the pieces of wood, or at the very least score them. And look at that, that's a nice clean cut. And it does come with a spare blade. It's a bit of a shame that they've sellotaped the blade to the inside of the packaging material, which I'm going to be throwing away, but that's fine, it's all good, because what I'll do is I'll get one of my drawers and we'll store that inside the drawer, because I've got 5 of them, as you saw from last week. So that's that, and I think that's worth it. Now they do some of the tools separately, and they are more expensive, so I'm assuming they're better quality. I didn't know what the quality was going to be like on this, but to be honest with you, it's pretty reasonable quality. Yeah, I wonder. So obviously I've just bought myself a little basic set to start with, but that's all well and good. Right, so the next thing I bought, and I'm possibly teasing you, the product recommended various glues. Now I am working with wood, which is a subject I've not experienced with, but I bought the recommended products. I don't know if I've kind of conned myself or they've conned me, but they recommend these 2 glues. So this is Rocket Max. This is a super glue, thick non-runny cyanide glue, bonds in 10 to 20 seconds, and this is a 5-minute white glue for modelers. Grabs fast, dries clear, stable joints, excellent bonding, bonds wood, foam, fabric and paper. This to me sounds like, oh, and also smells like microcrystal clear, but I'm suspecting it's cheaper than microcrystal clear because you buy it in a bigger container. Now I don't use microcrystal clear. People use it for gluing aircraft canopies. I use PVA glue. This is basically posh, improved PVA glue by the looks of it. But that's okay. I'll use it for this particular model. And the next thing is actually a paint pack. You get 9 bottles of paint, and you get this satin. So this is actually a satin paint. This is a satin acrylic varnish. And you also get, oh, I meant to say that glue pack, by the way, that was £10.79 plus tax, £2.11. I think that's about £13. I think that's a little bit expensive, but for the amount that I'm going to be using, you know, and it's a good product, that's fine. So we have got, now one of the things I had a problem with was I've already seen the instructions for the next build, and it's not really clear what paint you use. They tell you what paint to use as you need it. So you might have to get to, say, stage 79 and it says use red. There is nowhere a list of paints. Now Hobbies have actually gone through it. They've worked out what paints you need, and then they've just gone click here to add the paints. Now this paint pack, these paints are £5 each, except for one of the colours, which is £7, which is it's a colour called Judah Bitumen. That one's a little bit more expensive. Let me go through them. The primer, we have a primer somewhere. Right, this is the primer. This was £7. The dark red is £5, as is the white, the ochre, and the red. And then we have the Judah Bitumen. That's the same price as the primer. And then we have the varnish. I think the varnish is the cheapest because it's £7, but you do get more of it. And then that leaves what we got, a silver and a gold, and the black. Oh, the black is the same price as a regular paint. These two are the most expensive. These are about £11. So, to be honest with you, the descriptions, the way they describe the paints, it sounds like they're describing a very good hobby paint. So, is there a difference between this paint and this paint? The reason I bought them is these are designed primarily for plastic models. This is the same company that makes the actual model, and they do make wooden models. So surely if they're using the same, I mean, they probably don't make the paints, they're probably made and packaged with their name on. But if they're putting their name on the paints, surely it will work well with their product. So I might be wasting my money with those paints. I don't know, but I think there's a good chance that they will work. So long as they work okay, I'm happy. Sometimes you have to just spend a little bit more money and just get a product that you know will work. Right, so let's have a look at the main star of the show. Are you ready for this? Can you contain your excitement? So this is what I'm going to be building over the next so many weeks. This is the AEC Bus B-type. It is 1:24 scale. It doesn't say anywhere on the box what the scale is. There it is. So 1:24 scale. So it is 157 millimeters tall, 96 millimeters wide, and it is 29 millimeters wide. 290 millimeters. So that is going to be it's going to be about that long when it's finished. So it's not going to be a tiny model. Now, if anybody watched my fire engine, it is actually the same scale as my fire engine. I'm not going to bore you with all the side box details. It has various warnings like material subject to modification without prior notice. I'm sure it's going to tell me not to eat certain parts, and I'm not allowed to build it if I'm not a certain age. But all I'm really interested in, does it look magnificent? Does it build magnificent? And what parts do I receive with it? So let's do the unboxing. Now, as you can see, I'm cutting this open for the first time. So this means not only is it an unboxing, it's also going to be an initial reaction. And I really don't know fully what to expect. I have looked at one video of the build, but you don't actually see the building on it. It's one of those people. Lovely video, don't get me wrong, but what he does is he actually builds it off camera, and then he releases a video with his thoughts on it. I'm sorry, Missy, but you're going to have to go this time. Right, I'm going to remove this. Obviously what they do is they have a standard box. Yeah, it looks like they have a standard box, and then to differentiate the different models they then just stick this piece of paper on, which is that being a little bit tight, or is it just being a little bit economic? And do you know what, Spirit, you're getting quite heavy. Is it just being, you know, any costs, if they make anything a little bit flashier, it is going to drive the costs up, and it's ultimately us who have to pay for it. So maybe that's a nicer way of doing it. Present everything in a box like this, and then just stick a piece of paper on. So I'm not unimpressed. By the way, when you see anything go that way, it's actually me popping it into my my little workbench that I've got. Right, so that, yeah, no need to sellotape the box up because they put plastic sleeve on it. Right, so the very first impression obviously is this plastic box, because that's what I can see, and I can see it full of metal pieces. So obviously one of the questions that I've got is the primer that they've sold me, which is, that's the silver. So obviously the question I've got is, does this primer work on metal? It would definitely work on wood, we all know that. But I do have a metal primer, so when I come to actually using these metal pieces, I will keep you informed on whether the primers are any good. Right, so we do have a piece of plastic. Now, the instructions are available to download from the Occre website. It is a slight bit of a chore trying to find them, but they are there. So I have already seen the instructions, which is why I bought it, because the instructions look more than doable. Some of these ship kits, you don't really know what kind of level you need to be at. Wow, that's actually quite heavy. Right, so looks like we do have a colour reference sheet. So we have colours. Oh, and we have the models. And it says difficulty. So we have paint. So we have model, Titanic, ultra high, so that's a high level, and we would need the bitumen. Oh, that's really good. It's a shame that I didn't get it before. Just bear with me 1 second. Right, sorry, my recording screen. Right, so what I'll probably do is all of the paints that I own, I'll probably mark them on a high layer, and then one day when I want to build another model, what I can do is, I can't find a ruler. Right, let's use this. So what I'll do is I'll mark down, and then I can see instantly, like if I do the Diana, I can see all the paints that I'll need, and then all the ones that are highlighted, I know I've already got those paints. So that's actually quite useful. So that goes into my little thingy fine. Now, these are standard, these boxes, so I can't really bring it through, but these are my boxes from the work storage. You'll see these are exactly the same. So all I need to do is well, I'll separate these because I've got 5 drawers, but these will go straight into the work thing, so they're ready to go. But I'm actually going to transfer them because you can see I've got the handles on there. Now obviously they've tried to put everything into one box. Obviously I've got the opportunity to separate these between different boxes. We'll come back to this last. I want to have a look at the main bulk of the model first. So the first thing I want to look at, that's a bag of stuff. So this is the instruction manual. Now unless they've changed it different from the website. I don't like that being folded, but it's not a major problem. So what I don't like about this, I think this is going to go the same way, because this is a Spanish company, the instructions are written in Spanish. You've got all the nice pictures, and that's really, really good. And then what they do is at some point in the instructions, which they haven't done here, no, so they've given me a Spanish instruction manual. Now on the website, the instruction manual actually has pages and pages of foreign translation, and what it will say is photo 1, and then it's written in English, and photo 2 written in English. So all you need to do is go onto their website and just print off the relevant translation to you. If you want to do it in French, you can do it in French. You might even be able to get yourself a Pritt stick and just stick it over there. You know, obviously not being Spanish, I have not got a clue what they're on about. So I have got to do a bit of a background, bit of background work, and we'll just we'll have to download that. So as you can see, the whole thing is done in 116 stages. Now the first couple of stages, I do know for a fact that this is more preparing you for how to make models rather than actually making the model. The first actual instruction is number 3. So I'm thinking we'll do this part work style, and what I will do is I will do 1, maybe 2 instructions per video. We'll just take it nice and slowly. I'd like, if this happens, this would be my dream. I'd like a beginner to have a look at that and then go, no, that's way too advanced for me, I'll never be able to do that. And then they follow along the videos, and we just take it one section at a time. They see me doing it, and then they go, do you know what, just by doing it one section at a time, I think I can manage that. And then I think compared to doing some part works, I think you can get an incredible model for a fraction of the price. So there's the instructions. Now, as you can see, it is bent. It's also a little bit off. What I'm going to do is, just before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to pop that under my mattress. This is an old diamond painting trick. What you do is if something's a bit bent, you sleep on it. Pop this under your mattress, have a night's sleep, and in the morning that will be flat. Almost guarantee it. Right, so I think I'm going to need... Oh, there we go. I didn't notice that. So this is the translation. So there you see, there is my English translation. So photo 1, proceed with the correct identification of the parts. To do so, number the items as indicated on the PI sheet, which you will find. So this is the translation. So what I might do is I might photocopy these, cut each of these out. I might stick them over there, or I might just use these side by side. Do whatever works for you best. Okay, so there's all various different languages in there. Some of these instruction, is that Italian perhaps? Instructions de montage, that sounds French. I might have just insulted an entire nation there. Base to la langue. I see I'm useless with my foreign languages. Hopefully you got some entertainment out of me trying to do that. We have got this piece of acetate sheet. This is obviously for the windows. It's not really much to see because it happens to be a clear piece of plastic. That I'm not happy with. That has got a mark in it. So I have 2 options now. I can either say I'm not happy with that and get a replacement. I might not need all of this. I might be able to work around it. But also, a piece of acetate sheet like that, it's not going to be expensive, is it, to buy? We have these transfer sheets. Now, apparently there's 2 versions here. I don't know. I'm just going to try and remove... Oh, these are actually stickers now. when I read the first set of instructions, it said about applying these with glue. I'm not really sure if that's the best way to go. I might perhaps look at photocopying these and printing them off onto decal paper and then applying them as decals. I'll just look at various different options. I'll probably end up going with the original sticker sheet. It has got a bit of thickness to it, but by the time you put a couple of layers of varnish over top, it's going to even all of that out. Right, I am going to refer back to my instructions because, as you can see, it does have the little map of all the pieces that I'm expecting. So let's take everything out of the box, and then now I begin to see why this material store box isn't perfect, and I'll get to it why. So we have a piece of brass rod. Let's look at that one last. That's been factory cut. It's got a bit of a burr on the end, so do be careful, guys. Right, so let's have a look at my sprues. Don't know if that's razor blades or if that's part of the model. So I think this model is a lot simpler than it looks. I'm not saying it's a simple model. I'm saying it's simpler than it looks because it's all pre-cut pieces of wood which just slot together. Oh, I know what they're for. Right, so the first one we have is this one, and this looks like it's roof pieces. This is the roof of the lower deck or the floor of the upper deck, depending on how you look at it, and there'll be seats going in there, so that's very nice. And now this is where I'm saying that this storage isn't perfect. I do have material storage, so I will be popping them in there, but it would be nice perhaps to be able to pop all. Actually, it does go into the storage sideways. I'll explain what I've done later on. I can bring the whole box around. Right, so the next one that we have is, I thought it was this one. It is this one. So this is sprue 2. They haven't listed them in order. That last one was sprue 3. So this looks like it's part of the chassis, because I do remember that you've got to be putting pins into there. This looks like a window frame, so that's going to be fun to sort out. I don't know what these pieces are for. It'll all become clear once we get to it. The next sprue, now they're obviously benches, aren't they? You can see that the way they're laser cut, so it's just going to add a little bit of detail to those seats. They look like seat frames. I'm not sure what they are. More seat frames, backs of seats perhaps, but that's definitely there. And they do have the parts numbers written in the magazine, so I would suggest that perhaps we will go, we'll just highlight them once we've used them. There should be a couple more sprues left. This is sprue number 1. There's a front window bit there. That looks like the platform where the driver's going to sit. This is the back. This is the... No, this is the back. This is the front. This is the bit that separates the driver from the passengers. So that's all very nice. So next up we have got... So this is actually a sprue. These are going to be things like the... let me show you. Right, so you can't actually see it, but on the stairs you've got the sides of the stairs. These are going to be needing to be bent around. I'll show you how I do that when we get to it. I don't think it's going to be overly difficult. It's more a case of being careful that it is being, you know. This isn't listed in the parts list, and oh no, I see what this is. So all of these pieces here, you need to make them out of this. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut it, and then you need to bend it, and then what you need to do is, once this looks like these, then you know you've got it right. Now, it does look very complicated. I'm pretty sure it's not as complicated as you all think. So that needs to go into my part storage bit. Right, so next we have all these pieces of wood which aren't listed as parts, but I'm only going to remove one side because once these get separated, so we've got a big round rod there, we've got more of a timber kind of piece, and then we've got some what I'm going to describe as planks. Oh, we've got some more timbery types there. See, we've got some square ones, but most of these are just planks. So that's all good. I will, when I start work on this, I will separate all of these and I will pop them into the side, which I'm about to do now. Right, so that leaves two things. One is the contents of this bag. I have no idea what's in this bag. It's a nice touch putting things in a brown paper bag. I just wish I knew what they were. Oh, I know what these are. I know what these are. So these look like the tyres. Now, these are quite strange tyres. These are not rubber. These are actually foam. And there's two sizes I can see. We have 4 slightly larger ones, which I'm going to assume are the back. And then we've got 4 slightly smaller ones. They're going to need a little bit of work to tidy them up, but as you can see, they're foam. No different from sticky back foam, but without the sticky on them. So that's quite interesting. So let's find a little home for them. So let's get one of our empty boxes, and will they fit in there? No, they won't fit in there. So what we'll do is we'll pop those in there. Okay, so they've got a nice safe place now thanks to my little workstation. So this little brown paper bag is no longer needed. Make sure there's nothing else in there. Not going to throw it away. Right, so oh, this is very well sellotaped up. Bear with me a sec, guys, because this involves removing sellotape. Okay, so this is my little drawer of things. Now what I'm going to do is, because I've got 5 of these with my workstation, but only 1 with the model, I'm actually going to separate these so that they all have their own little drawer. I don't at this point know what order they should go in, because obviously it's all, I would ideally like to sort them in order of build sequence, but I'm not going to be able to do that. But we'll see what we can do. So let's take out some of the big things first. So we've got 4 wheels, and we've got 2 wheels are smaller, and one's quite thin. Now the thick one is obviously going to be 2 tyres going on there, so they're quite nice. So that's one of the things I was concerned about with the metal primer, but I do actually own a metal primer, so if the primer for that doesn't work, I've got primer for this. So it came out of a big section, so let's pop them into the small section, and I will put them all into the same tub because they are all wheels. Now these look like mud guards perhaps, so these are nice solid. I'm going to call them die cast. I don't know if they are die cast, but they look rather nice. So actually I will put those with the wheels because it's going to kind of make sense that they're not going to be far off the wheels. Now these look like leaf spring suspension. I love the principle. This is a very basic thing, but you see that the suspension is made up by having lots and lots of small thin bars, and it's the combination of the bars that adds the strength, and it also gives it its bend. It's a very simple way to do it, and you won't find that in modern cars now as they've got all their computer technology stuff, but I just think it's so elegant in its simplicity, but it's genius. Right, oh, that goes in there, no problems. So that's lovely. So next we've got these. I'm not going to put, oh, I know what these are for. These go inside the wheels. So it just adds a bit more, I think it goes into there. Yep, so it goes in there like that. So it turns that wheel, quite plain as you can see, into that one. Exactly how it goes in, we'll come to that when we do the wheels. So I will store that with the wheels. This looks like is it the crankshaft? So obviously inside there will be like a cog system. So you'll have a bar comes down with a cog system, and then that will set that. I think I'm probably just making that up. We have got two little, now these look different shapes. These have actually got a flat spot on them, and these are little brass rods. They're a little bit too small to go in the smaller storage space, so I will put those in there. They can have their own section there. We'll see if we've got enough room. Yeah, I think we've got plenty of room. Right, so this is obviously the front radiator grille. Now I believe that that's going to have to be painted black on the inside and silver on the outside. So we'll probably put a layer of black primer on there and then just go over the edge with a silver. There's the radiator cap. You can see you've got seam lines on there from the moulding process, so that is going to need quite a lot of prep work. That's just the way it is. And this looks like the engine, top of the engine cover. But I mean, all of these metal pieces are going to need prep work. We're going to have to give them a very light sanding. But what I'm going to use for that, also going to give them a clean with tool cleaner, and that will remove every bit of muck. So this looks like the steering wheel. That's quite nice. We have, I don't know what that is or how we're going to stick things to it. That looks like it's going to have to be something super glued on there. We have these two round pieces. Again, I don't know what they're for. That looks like it's got some muck in it, so that's going to need a clean out. Or is that meant to be in there? Maybe that's meant to be in there. I don't know. We'll find out. See, from the top, they look the same. But if you look underneath, there's something in that hole, and I can't work out if it's meant to be there. So I'll put them in there separately. We then have, I think I'm going to maybe need some tweezers, because some of these parts are quite delicate. Right, so we've got, this looks like some kind of linkage there. A little bit of a seam mark on there, so that's going to need some cleanup. These look like they could perhaps be wing mirrors. Not sure. This looks, oops, perhaps a headlight. I'm just speculating as to what they are, guys. I honestly don't know. But I'm going to put them in there because it's fallen in there. We've got some little bits there. I don't know what they are. They actually look like the ends of propellers, the spinners on aircraft, World War II aircraft propellers. It's obviously not what they are. Oh, we've got 3 of these. Does that sound right to have 3 of those? There is no checklist for these metal parts, so I don't know if I'm short on the parts. And we've got these little square bits. I can only really describe them as shapes at the moment. So in the next one we've got 4 of these. Again, I don't know what they are. They're going to need a bit of cleanup, as I can see from the moulding process. Do you know what, guys? I'm just going to bring my camera in a little bit. So just rest assured that when I put the parts aside, they're actually going into one of these boxes. Right, so these look, I'm just trying to find something. It looks like these are all 4s of something. So I don't know what they are, but there's some pieces there. I am a little bit concerned that we've only got 3 of those. So I will, because like I say, there is no parts checklist for these metal bits. So I will perhaps just, well, I'll go through the instructions. So these little bent bars, which I'm struggling to get out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. There's 8 of them, so I'm guessing that has something to do with the wheels, 2 on each wheel. So they can go into a little section. I'm just pulling out the bits that are quite easy to pull out. Right, so this is the side of the engine. This is the part that's got the number on it. As you can see, it's going to be a little brass plate. B340, B-type bus number 340. That's actually nicely moulded. Once it's painted, it'll look so much nicer. I'm beginning to think along the lines of I need a fiberglass pen for some sanding. Some nice looking parts there. These actually, yes, these are actually different. No, they're the same. Okay, I thought there was like a left and a right. Okay, so that's that little drawer full up. Let's pull out another drawer. It's quite nice having these extra drawers. Like I say, this little workstation, I will show you in a minute, it's not necessary, but having these extra drawers, it really does help. So we've got 3 separate pieces here. That finishes off that particular tray. So I'm just going to put those 1 in each little box. Right, so we have these pieces here. These are actually different. I don't know, something to do with the engine perhaps. We'll get to them eventually. I'm now starting to wonder if I actually have enough drawers for the way that I'm separating these pieces. Right, so let's take this piece out. If anyone knows what any of these pieces are, by all... Oh, these are definitely headlights. They look like the headlights. So are we looking for some clear plastic pieces, or are we putting acetate on? Now, one idea that I've seen is if you drill through these in the correct way, you can actually add LED lights, but I don't think I'm going to. But these are our headlights. I will put these together even though there is clearly a left and a right. Okay, and then we have... There you go, we'll look at these 2 parts next. And then we have... That looks like, look at that, that's the horn. That is quite literally a horn, a car horn, a bus horn, and the driver will just have to. It's a little bit of rubber on there, you know, like the old trumpet type horns, and he'll squeeze that and it'll go, and that's how you tell people to get out of the way. How fantastic is that? Okay, time for another tray. Oh, we're getting to the end of the trays now. So that can be put away, and we've got this. That's obviously, oh, could that be the fire extinguisher? I think that might be. And then that leaves us in that particular piece. That leaves us these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. I don't know what they are, but they can go in there. So then we have, this is the last of the metal pieces. Again, don't know what that's for. Then we have some wooden pieces, and these feel like balsa wood. It's very, very light, and these are all triangular. I'm tempted to say these are some kind of wheel chocks, but I know they won't be. This is maybe that's the seat for the driver. I don't know. And then we have these 2 triangular pieces, which they can go in. Now we have 2 things left. We have got 4 of these little wooden circular pieces. Maybe that's got something to do with the wheel axles, you know, some kind of crude bearing perhaps. And then that leaves us with our pins, which I'm going to put into there, and I'll put them in that one because that's got a handle. And that is all of our pieces sorted out, ready to go. So we do now have a spare tray. Oops, 2 pins left over, didn't quite make it. So we've managed to fill up 4 trays. I don't want to use, there we go, I want to use that lid. So I've managed to fill up 4 trays out of my 5. That's on the wrong way round. I might actually pop a little bit of sellotape just on one side, and then they'll become a flip. Yeah, I'll probably put a bit of sellotape at the front, and then they'll become flip then. Right, so the last tray that I haven't used, I haven't put bits in, they've just got little bits of scrap in them. Let me just zoom out a bit. So this is my tray number 5, and then this is my tray that came with the bus, which I'll probably just pop on the top shelf. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'll just take the top of the shelf off, and I can just bring my little workstation through, so you'll be able to see what I've done with everything. Now, as I say, this is optional. I meant to say how much this cost. I forgot to tell you that, didn't I? So this workbench was £53.99 plus £10, 80, 63, 64. Call it £65. I think it's a nice little help. We need to put these somewhere. Oh, there we go. We've got a little drawer there. We can pop them in. So I think what I'm going to do is I might just cut away some of this little shelf piece there, and then we can pop our sprues in there. Then if I just cut little grooves in there slightly wider than this, I can just pop them in there. So obviously I'll find ways to organise this as I go. For now I've just done it like this. The next job, which I'll do off camera, is to separate these pieces of wood, which I can then put into the storage there. We've got bits there that I'm not going to use on this project. I've got the drawer, the original drawer here, and then I've got all my parts. You can't see it because it's too far down. So I've got my 5 little drawers with my pieces there. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go through the instructions, get myself familiar with the instructions, and then we'll actually start building it next week. Like I say, I am just a little bit concerned there's only 3 of those. So one of the things I need to do is go through the magazine, go through the instructions, and find out what they are and how many I'll need. I do have a critique of this actually. As I built this, I realised it's not this one that I owned. I actually owned the Artisan one. Now, one thing that was a little bit nicer, they have a section on the Artisan one where you can pop your instructions. They don't have one on this. I don't think it's going to be a major problem, but it would be nice to have somewhere to put my instructions. So that is one critique of this. Now, the bus. You're probably asking me now, how much did the bus cost? I'm not sure if I've told you. If I didn't tell you, I will tell you again. And I can't find my invoice. So the bus cost me £95 plus £20. So it's about 100. Sure, it was more expensive than that. I'm sure it was something like 160. Let me just have a little look on the website, and then we can go through all the prices properly. Okay, so I've actually brought up my order from the Hobbies website. Again, you could probably buy these other places. Now, as you can see, that the membership is £10. Now the tool set that I bought is $14.39. Was that worth buying? Probably yes, because I got the little gizmo that will cut bits of wood. That's going to make my life easier. Without it, I could just use a razor saw, but I think it's nice. And then obviously we've got the little push pin. I think that's valid. You know, once you've tried to put pins into wood and it's, you know, there's a lot of them to do and it's a bit unsuccessful, you'll be kind of glad you bought them. The workstation is £65. Did I need it? No, I definitely didn't need it. Is it going to make my life better, easier? Most definitely. Now the model, £114. I thought it was more than that. Now, from a value point of view, I'm anticipating that each... it does say on the website, actually, if you go onto the Occre website, it tells you how difficult and how long everything takes. This has been estimated at 100 hours. Now, I'm planning on each stage perhaps taking me about half an hour. I thought a nice way to do it is we will do one stage or half an hour's worth of work, whichever one is longest. So obviously, if I do stage, I'm looking at a random stage. If I do stage 64, and maybe stage 65 they take 5 minutes each, then I can do them both. But yeah, I'm aiming to do maybe one stage. So at this particular stage, I'm anticipating that this series will be about 115 stages. Mate, let's call it 100 stages. And I think that represents extremely good value for money. It's about £1 a stage, about £1 an hour to make it. The next up, I've got the glue at £12.95. Was it worth it? Well, if you haven't got the glue, yes, most definitely. You might be able to get them cheaper. I don't know. Then you got the paints. Most of the paints were a £5. Some were £7, and obviously the varnish was £8. And don't forget, I'll get 5% off all of this. So the order actually came to £285. 10% of that is £28.5. So I've got £14.25 to come back, which actually is a saving because the hobby membership costs £10. So by buying the membership, it saved me £4 when you take into account the membership. But don't forget, all future orders will now attract 5% off. Okay, so that is it. So yeah, I'm now ready to start building. I hope you like my toys that I bought. I hope that the bus is something that interests you. Obviously at this particular point I have absolutely no idea how it's going to go, but it should be alright, shouldn't it? I think if I take it step by step, it will be absolutely fine. So next week I'm anticipating will be maybe 3 stages, because the first couple of stages is telling you how to deal with whatever. But we'll look at maybe half an hour work for me. Obviously the videos will be edited, so every week you're possibly going to be getting, do you know, I've just found my coffee I was looking for. So yeah, you're probably going to get about a 5-10 minute video every week, which will be about half an hour to an hour's work. It'll just be one stage. I know it's going to mean it's a long series, but I think that will make it easier to digest, and hopefully we'll get some beginners who will actually say, do you know what, I think I want to tackle this. If you look at the whole model as £116, it's quite an expensive model. Although I've bought more expensive models before. If you look at it as £116, but you're going to get over 100 hours of enjoyment out of it, now it's actually cheaper than an Airfix starter set. You know, you'll buy one of those at about £15 and it'll be done in a day. whereas this is going to be, you know, I'm imagining this as being maybe someone who's at school. You know, they can come home from school, get the homework done, and then spend an hour on it, just maybe do one stage. It'd still take you 3 months if you spent an hour a day on it. So anyway, guys, I will bore you no more. I know I'm starting to waffle. I'm just removing the masking tape from my workbench, because I still haven't done that yet. So next week we will begin work on the bus. It is going to be a slow journey, but hopefully it'll be a wonderful journey. Right, guys, so that's it from me. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.